That's my own fault for saying that I remember that this doesn't have a clutch switch. Oh god, hello everybody. First things first, sorry about the wind noise, it is incredibly windy today. Secondly, thank you so much for all your very, very kind messages regarding hitting 100,000. I am humbled by your stories, and I am so happy that I've been able to make that much of a difference to that many people. It makes it feel like it was all worth it. Anyway, moving on to today's video, the government came and took my bike. Well, not yet, but there is a bit of a thought process, I'm not going to say the C word because YouTube doesn't like it, about the fact that the government wants to take motorcycles from people. As in, the reason why the laws are getting more complicated and more drawn out is they want to make it harder and harder for people to be able to get onto a motorcycle. You know, the staged licenses. Their argument is that it is safety. From what I have seen, the figures actually do match up. And, you know, for a lot of people who say about how it was better back in the day when, you know, when you basically just walked up and sniffed a motorbike seat and they gave you a license, the death toll then was a lot higher than it is now. Could that be related to the safety equipment we now have and maybe a few other things that aren't directly related to the size of the bike? Yeah, sure, but I don't know. I mean, this is a very complicated subject. I just want to put it to you. Do you believe that the government is trying to shadow ban bikes, as it were, to make it more and more difficult for new riders to get onto them, and thus they will never use motorcycles? The problem with this argument is, for me, is, you know, the idea of motorcycles, the CBT particularly, was that it was supposed to help people get into employment by having a cheap means of transport. And if people want to work, most people are going to need transportation, and still to this day a motorcycle is going to be cheaper to get on than a car. I mean, the CBT still exists. That's impressive. That's like a thing that doesn't exist for cars, other than, well, the ability to drive a car without a license if the person in the car with you's got a license for more than, was it 4 years, 2 years, and you've got the insurance for it. You know, that's where you learn, and that's part of the point. You can learn in a car with someone sat next to you. You can't really learn on a bike with someone sat behind you, apart from the countries that are now going to go, well, just you can't, Spicy. Yes, I know, some countries in Europe particularly have, when you do your tests, you're on the front, they are on the back, and they have some dual controls. Sounds terrifying to me. You have to learn with a person on the back. Like, that doesn't change the way a bike feels. It's bizarre. But yeah, anyway, the point is the CBT still exists, which I think is a good thing. You know, if we were going to believe this conspiracy, if they took our bikes, then they would have got rid of the CBT a long time ago, because then you're at equal level pegging with cars, you know, that you have to go through the process of getting your license. But then, of course, people will say, well, yes, but a 17-year-old can drive a Lambo, and that's not fair. I don't think that's going to happen, as you well know. The insurance is going to stop that happening, but it is feasible that it could happen. Yes, there is the physical legality allowance there to do it. You know, I wouldn't actually be surprised if they brought in some sort of bracketed license system for cars. So, you know, you pass your equivalent of your A2, and then you can drive, what, like a 1 litre or 1.2 under 100 brake horsepower or something. And if you want more than that, then you have to go for the advanced license. You know, they're the things I think the government would be doing if they were really money grabbing and or trying to stop people doing things they want to do. I mean, that is something that the government ultimately does do, and I think people from either side of the political swing can agree that the government generally just seems to want to stop us doing anything. Now, some people agree with that, and they would rather we live in a world where no one has any fun and everyone's safe. And that's not to say that I want to see people driving recklessly and hurting people unnecessarily. That's exactly what I'm very much against. But there are levels. But you can't be that mental on a bike anyway, because if it isn't the policeman that sees you, it's the hidden speed camera or the speed camera that's been there this whole time and you forgot existed. I mean, in the future we're going to possibly have noise-related cameras. I've done a video talking about that because they tested the first one in this country locally. I don't think we're going to see that come to fruition, if I'm entirely honest with you. Even though doing more testing, I think I've spoken to some audio people, and it's tricky. It's very tricky and very easy to disable them to a point they would no longer be calibrated. So, yeah, I don't know. But I mean, you know, they're getting with visual stuff, they're getting you with audible stuff. Are they next going to be like, you smell bad, now we've got to fine you for that? Like, I get how some people can be anti-government, and I can understand the other side of I do like that there are rules in place to at least have sensible things like, you know, don't drink and drive. You know, this is ignoring the fact of all the, you know, the internal combustion bans and all the changes that electric, if that's the way we go, we're going to bring. Made many videos on that recently, you should check them out. As I say, I kind of sit in the middle of a lot of these things. I can understand, and I can put myself into the shoes of the person who might think that way and have that sort of thought process. If you believe that, what would you then think, if you know what I mean? And I can understand how people can get the impression that the government is trying to, you know, outlaw or shadow ban bikes, make them so difficult they don't exist anymore. I can understand that. I will say here, there does seem to be a correlation between people who think that and people who are failing their motorcycle licence and having problems getting through to the next level. Not all at all, and I'm not saying that, you know, you can have that opinion without having that, but there is definitely a human trait that if you struggle with something, to say that you don't like it anyway, and the government did it, you know, it's very easy to say that rather than I put my foot down in a U-turn again. Where are you going? Oh, you're not going up here then. Personally, I think the problem is that you have to make the rules for the lowest IQ level, and because of that we end up getting what we get now. I mean, as I say, but I think one of the arguments is that it costs so much to keep fixing up all of these broken motorcyclists who are getting into crashes that it's cheaper to keep them in cars. I think that's one of the arguments. I don't believe in that, because I think if they wanted to save money by, you know, fixing up people who are hurt, they might go after drunk people. Because, well, I mean, I don't know what it's like anymore. If you work in A&E, I'd love to know this. Has the whole, like, weekend drunk injury, Friday night into Monday morning hell, I believe you used to deal with, does that still exist now we're sort of post-COVID? Because I'm sure a lot more money would be saved there, and there's a lot more other places you can save money more easily. But then again, people will say, well, the government could save money in loads of places easily. There's loads of things they could do that would improve matters, but they never do it, because they're only looking after themselves. That's, you know, that's one mindset. I do think one of the highest disqualifying marks to becoming a politician should be the want to be one. I think every single politician should be kicking and screaming and not wanting to do it. Because people say to me, you know, you've got good logic on these things, you should do it. And I'm like, look, I'm smart enough to know that these subjects, these problems are very complicated and multifaceted, and things affect other things in ways you wouldn't imagine. But before that, hell no. I don't want to be in charge of everyone else's life, making decisions that can, can help some people, but it can really hurt others. I don't want to be that one. Sorry, yes, I am ending this at Tesco's, because my local Tesco's has nothing. The shelves are empty. I don't know an answer to this one. I don't know why. Well, I think I do. I tend to believe in what makes most sense, that they are just trying to save lives. But at the same time, I understand I like people to have freedoms to do dumb things. That's why I said they shouldn't outlaw open-face motorcycle helmets. Right, well, there is the video. Smash the like out of the fuck button, and I will catch you in the next one. Bye-bye.